Hey guys, it's Helena. So today I wanted to make a different kind of video and talk about the show Game of Thrones and what I kind of think is the theory behind it, or more so like a metaphor to life, that it relates to bigger issues in the world today, such as climate change. And I thought it was finally an appropriate time to make this video since the final season 8 is coming back really soon. Yeah. So let's get started. For me, after watching Game of Thrones, I kind of realized that it has a metaphor to climate change and basically like what we're facing as a society right now. And basically, in case you don't watch the show, a general background is that all these different families and kingdoms, they're trying to fight for the heir to the throne. Like, you know, they want to be the king or the queen of Westeros, and everyone thinks they have like a right to it. And so there's all this bloodshed, a lot of war, like everyone's fighting amongst each other. Meanwhile, there's a larger, bigger issue, like problem that they're gonna have to face soon, and that's what Jon Snow is trying to like tell everybody. And he basically, you know, went to Beyond the Wall, and Beyond the Wall, it's like very like, it's like an ice, like, you know, snowy, like dark place, and there's these kind of zombie type creatures that don't die easily called the White Walkers, and they basically are, you know, coming to attack these kingdoms, like go past the wall and attack all these people and kill them. And the problem is that not everyone believes that these White Walkers exist. And so that's why, for me, I feel like that is really similar to climate change, because nowadays, you know, climate change is it's sometimes a hard concept to grasp, because we say, like, depending on where you're living, you're not gonna know what it is, like, firsthand. Like, you won't necessarily experience it, and only people in certain countries actually, you know, are facing those impacts at the moment, like very immediately. And it's unfortunate because some people don't think that climate change is real, and, you know, they think it's like a thing of the future, which it is and it isn't, right? It's like everything that we're doing right now is gonna impact how our future is gonna turn out. And so yeah, that's kind of how I see it in relation to Game of Thrones, is because there's this larger issue that we collectively as a society have to like come together in order to, you know, combat it. And essentially that's what's happening in Game of Thrones. All these kingdoms, I mean, all these, you know, kings and you know, families are trying to fight for the throne, but, like, you know, Jon Snow's coming in and trying to explain to everybody that, you know, we have to like put our differences aside in order to tackle this really like life-threatening issue, which is the White Walkers. And for me, in real life, I associate that with climate change. Like, in order to address it, we have to come together and figure out like a solution and put our differences aside in order to make, you know, a difference, either politically, probably politically, like economically, just companies and politicians and everyone has to really address climate change and put it at the forefront of, you know, what we're doing in the world. So yeah, that was kind of a handful if you don't really watch the show. I don't know, I think it's just like an interesting way to think about it. I was like, wow, maybe Game of Thrones has an underlying message that we're all missing. In summary, I just feel like in Game of Thrones, people are either going, if they don't come together, they're all essentially gonna die. And I kind of feel like that about climate change and our society. I mean, it is a bit of like a dire way to see it. You know, climate change is really a threat to our survival as like a species and just the survival of the planet. We will have to put our differences away in order to, you know, really address climate change effectively. Yeah. So thank you for watching my little rant on Game of Thrones and climate change. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this beautiful day, and yeah, see you next time. Bye!